Good morning, you PBOptionMillionaires.com. It is Monday, August 11, 2014, and stock futures are higher this morning. We saw a big reversal on Friday. We saw a lot of selling towards the end of last week, and then stock futures were tumbling late Thursday into Friday morning before we recovered and then rallied. It was a significant rally. But if you look at where the market was, we hit all-time highs, and where it ended up before it started to rally. We've seen this before. Okay, go back to the tech wreck of 2014, started in April. Same thing at the start of this year. We pulled back, almost a very identical kind of pullback. So if we're going to get this type of recovery, we're here. Okay, this is where we are. We've got a lot more to go, and guess what that's going to take us to? Ding, da, da. Yeah, new record prices for the market. Same thing here that we saw back in September. So it was, your garden variety pullback, which is good to see when you get a market just slowly grinding higher and everybody's like, oh, this market it's so dull and boring, which it was. It can't ever go down now. You know, every morning you wake up and stock futures are higher. Everybody's complaining about how stocks just don't go down anymore. Well, guess what? They went down and now they're going back up. But the funny thing is, when we're having this kind of drastic sell-off and you're getting these nasty pullbacks, you just do a quick search. Everybody's calling for a market crash. The bubble that I said was going to pop every month for the last 36 months, it's popping. No, you're just getting a garden variety pullback. And if you look from a longer term perspective, this is my 2-year daily chart. I brought this up on StockTwits in the midst of this nasty sell-off, the bubble collapsing. You can see where we are. We're at the same juncture, and I put nice little green lines. Just look it up, SPY chart I did last week. Every time we've got oversold, and I did it in my video too on Thursday, I believe. Each of these oversold levels on the relative strength index, including the Abenomics low at the end of November of 2012, has been great buying opportunities, and we're getting that pullback, that recovery here, and we're going to snap up to new record levels. So we have earnings season winding down. Let's go over some other charts here. I just wanted to point out the QQQ, which I was talking about at the tech wreck of 2014. The descending, broadening wedge right here, and you can see we broke out to record levels. We're consolidating here. Again, looks very bullish. IWM been consolidating after getting into this channel. And you see we're in this channel consolidating. So yeah, look for another move back up. Try and break that 120 level, record levels on the IWM. Boeing, I love this chart. From a long-term perspective, we rallied to record levels. We're at support here. We're starting to bounce off it. We're just at the early stages of a nice recovery to probably at least 130. Amazon, talked about this one up at the blog at OptionMillionaires.com. Love this back up to the 340 level, and we'll go from there. How about SSYS? Reported earnings last week. JB at Option Millionaires got into the 109 and put him up on his private Twitter account at Option Millionaires. The 109 calls at 40 cents. Those calls were worth over $13 the next day. So there you go. On the spike for earnings, pull back a little bit. But with SSYS, I like DDD as well, which is under $49. I like it back over 50, and again, I think it's going to head back over to $70 level. We have earnings from VJet. This is a stock to watch as well. We'll see if it can lift up back over to 20 level. That earnings report is on Wednesday. So let's go over some earnings. We have Priceline earnings after the bell, I believe, today. You can see it's at support. It looks very bullish here, and I'm looking for that move back over 1,300. Of course, with out-of-money stock options, it's going to be tough to trade this one because we have 4 additional days of premium built in if you get the weeklies, and that will imply a higher price. So you're better off probably waiting until the morning open tomorrow and then looking to initiate an option trade. Hopefully the stock doesn't make a big move, and then we can try to determine where it's going to move throughout the rest of the week. We have CZR, which is Caesars Entertainment. I love this right here. Look at this. We're right at support. I'm looking to get some calls. There was actually, I think it was Barron's. Was it Barron's this weekend? Or maybe I was, I read so much over the weekend. Sometimes I cannot put the source to the idea, but I believe Caesars for a bullish trade. Somebody was talking about it, and now I'm talking about it. I'd like to get into some calls. Hopefully it doesn't move back that much this morning. I'll be able to get into some calls. I believe that's after the bell. Tomorrow we have Prudential, which looks bullish to me as well. I might get some calls. Look for a move over to the $90 level. Fossil has earnings. What a great stock here. For earnings trade, I believe last earnings we saw a significant drop to the downside. Are we going to see a significant pop to the upside? Nonetheless, you can see all of these gaps. Most of them are earnings reports, which means come earnings, let's just look real quick and see what the market's telling us about Fossil. $8.26 move. So you can look at that as, was that almost a 6.5% move for Fossil. And then we have Cree, which is going to be a good trade because it as well moves big when it has its earnings report. Look, the last earnings report from 60 down to 55, and that created a move ultimately down to about $45 level. So let's look for this one for a recovery, back up to fill that gap. Why not? Hey, Cree. And then on Wednesday we have VJet I brought up. We have Noodles. Noodles, which is recent IPO, is down at record low levels. See if it can recover. So I'll be looking at some calls there for Noodles. We have John Deere reporting before the bell on Wednesday. Deere, like Caterpillar, has been pulling back. You see the tough nut to crack here has been its record level at $93. So we'll see if the earnings report can get it back up to that level. I am not bullish or bearish on this one. It could go either way here. Wow. It could rain. It might be sunny. I'd make a great weatherman, wouldn't I? And then we have Macy's reporting. A lot of people like this stock. You can see it spiked up to record levels, consolidating. So it looks set to break out to new record levels. We have NTAP. I like this one here, even though it's been pulling back a little bit off its $45 level. If you can look from a long-term 5-year chart, you can see it's broken out of this wedge. It's kind of been meandering. Once it broke out to 45 bucks, but it's kind of been meandering here. Let's look for that spike up. Let's get that. And I think there was an analyst came out recently, downgraded the stock, but there's a host of bullish analysts on the stock. How about Plug Power? Plug Power reports earnings, I believe, before the bell on Wednesday. So we'll see if this one can get some legs. Although it is a 5, I'd never traded it via option. I just know it's a hot stock, and a lot of people will probably be trading for options. Cisco reports earnings. Cisco Systems reports earnings on Wednesday, and you can see this chart as well as a 5-year weekly pullback for the 10-year. There we go, and you can see this price point. And I remember, if you go back to last year, I did a post at optionmillionaires.com talking about this as a point of interest where the stock will pull back. So if you look from a longer term 10-year monthly chart, this line right here has been an absolute tough nut to crack, and each time it's come up to it, it has fallen significantly. A lot of the times has been at an earnings report. So last year at this time, this is what happened with Cisco Systems. So we have earnings report again. I mean, if you want to go by history from a chart perspective, what is going to happen? We're going to see a big move to the downside. Again, though, if it does break over this level, we can look at the $31 level. It was probably going to be a spike in either direction. Let's just see what the option market is kind of pricing in for Cisco Systems. $1.27, which puts us at, was that a 4.5% move, something like that. So that would put us at 26.27. And if you look at the $26 calls are 48 cents. So it's a good option trade. Maybe do a strangle or a straddle. Let's move to Thursday. Thursday we have Walmart. We have a couple retailers. Walmart was in a megaphone topping pattern. It still is. So let's see what happens there with Walmart. I'm not going to trade it either way. Although I believe their sales report wasn't so bullish last earnings. JCPenney reports earnings. You can see after it's bottomed here at about $5, it's kind of meandering here. Right about the $10 level. If it can indeed get back over this long-term support line, it's on like Donkey Kong, but that remains to be seen for JCPenney. And finally, Autodesk, which has been a hot stock. This head and shoulders pattern ended up with an earnings move to the downside back in 2012. I was in the puts for that trade. We had another one back in 2013, and this time looks not so bearish for Autodesk. A lot of analysts are behind this one. And so let's look for a move to the upside. Right now it sits just below support. And that's Thursday after the bell. And then earnings season really going to start winding down. So I think from a long, let's just look at S&P 500 futures, which are ramping up. And if you just look at the chart, I mean, to me, we're ready to take out new record levels and put all that bearish chatter back to the sidelines. All right, UPB, your optionmillionaires.com. I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading week. Goodbye.